Hey, how's it going? So, today I'm going to play, I think it's called Ship Deconstruction Simulator. Shoot, now I can't even remember the name. The name of this game is very hard for me to remember for whatever reason. Ship Graveyard Simulator. So if you look it up there, you see Deconstruction Simulator. I have that game as well. This is, I believe, the same people. Either way, I've played this for a little bit here and made some progress. This is kind of your shack that you start out in. The game itself is based in India or somewhere like that. And basically, this is your living quarters. Out there, straight ahead, that's where your dead ship will show up that you tear apart, and that's your truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how the game works. I'm going to take this first stepped ship. So when you first start the game, if you run the tutorial, this will be your first ship. You get it for free. And so you get it for free. And, man, for some reason, I cannot talk. I don't know what's going on. Anyway. You get this first ship for free, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that one because it will be quicker. It's the smallest of all the ships or portions of ships you can get in the game. You can see I've done several already. I've gone up. They get more and more complex and larger the more money you spend to buy the scrap heaps. So anyway, we'll start with this little one. It doesn't have much in it. So on this screen, you're looking at that ship, right? You bring it up over here. This is the general info. It doesn't really tell you much other than how much it costs. There'll be contracts associated with those ships. This is a very low payout contract, but you're not really pulling that much. So you're mostly just low alloy steel, not very much of it. They're going to pay you $100 or $10. So that's it. Most of the income in this game is relatively small. Yeah. When you do some of these bigger ships, like I just finished, I think it was this one. It was this one or this one. I made maybe $2,000 total in all. With the contracts and everything else, I might have made like $2,200. It really wasn't that great. But the upfront cost is pretty low. So basically, whatever your upfront cost for the ship, like this, you can kind of expect to get maybe, I don't know, you can expect to kind of maybe get 100 times that, maybe. Like this ship, I think I made, maybe it wasn't 100 times, maybe it was more like 50 times, because I think on this ship I made somewhere around $600, $500 or $600 on that, $10. So anyway, contracts, you'll have up to 3 of them usually. And they'll all be asking for stuff that's all going to be on that ship. So you'll be able to get it. You won't necessarily get it if you do some things wrong, but you'll be able to get it. And then this will show you the resources on that ship. So out of this, we're going to get about a little over 3,700 kilograms of metal, some non-metals, no liquids at all, and a little bit of equipment. All these things add up. They have a sell value. So you can see this says resources are about $90 total. That does not include, or I think it does include what would be in this contract. So if you just sell all of this, this is how much you'll get. If you do the contract and then sell all of this, you'll get close to this. You'll make more money having fulfilled the contract. That's the way to say it. But you won't get this full $90. Anyway, this is a good kind of starting ship to show off how the game works. Yes, I want to buy that ship. And then let's run out and start work. So it's already nighttime. This game's day and night cycle is one, it's pretty arbitrary. There's really no need for it because you don't ever have to stop and sleep. You can't actually stop and sleep. So anyway, you pull out here. There's the wreck I'm going to be working on. It's pretty small. And I always just position the truck close to whatever major opening there is. So on this one, it's pretty open on 3 of the 4 sides. So you can pick any one of them. You'll see why that matters later. And often I'll figure out that where I put it in the beginning doesn't really match, and I'll end up moving the truck. Sometimes I just move the truck during the process, depending on how much is going on. So once we get here, you can see there's, let me turn on my flashlight. So you can see like there's just some miscellaneous stuff here. So I have upgraded all my tools, so what you're going to be seeing is not how you're going to start the game. I have better gloves and hammer and stuff. I'll talk about that stuff in a little more as we go. What I learned really quickly, and what is true of most of these kind of games, is you want to maximize your tools first. So your first priority is upgrading those tools. So once I start picking stuff up, I chuck it to the truck. The distance that you can throw things is extremely long, and as long as it has a green arrow on it, or a green line, you're going to hit the truck. Otherwise, you're going to get close, but you're not going to actually make it. So anyway, running around here, what I do to start with is I usually run around and grab all the miscellaneous stuff, which gives me a chance to scout the ship a little bit. So there's some things you need to look for when you're walking around one of these ships, and that is, besides all this miscellaneous gear, you want to look for stuff that is that you'll be lifting with a forklift, or with not a forklift, with one of this crane right here, that big thing. I don't remember if this has stuff on it. I think it does. And then also, like, I can carry way more because I've updated that as well. But so this is the topmost level. First thing I do in a ship is I scout it and I look for the tallest level. The reason I want to do that is I want to know where the equipment is in relation to the roof or whatever is above it. So I've cleared that. So now I can come down and I can go here, just kick this door in and walk out and look around and see if there's anything else. What I'm looking for is, I think I can bridge that gap. I bet you I can. Yep. So what I'm looking for is anything that I need the crane to lift out, and then I need to be able to get to it. So I'm just kind of looking around at, this one doesn't have a lot of stuff. It's really small, but for purposes of this, it's great because I'm not going to be here all day trying to do this. So anyway, how full you fill your containers, by the way, doesn't matter. They could be chuck full, they could be partially full, it doesn't matter. It's just adding up that weight towards the end. So there's nothing on this. I don't think there's anything on this to crane out except the ship itself. So we begin demolition. So to do that, pull out the hammer. Again, this is a really upgraded hammer, but the fastest way to knock down things is to bring down all the walls that support them. And then I do the flooring because I might as well just run around and build everything. So what you're doing is basically just knocking out these rivets to get all these support walls pulled down. And just like that, we've got, if I bring the bottom part of the ceiling down, you can see the inner part. So everything has two sides. There's the inside and out, or top and bottom, depending on the orientation, I guess. So you see how that is. There's the outside of the wall and the inside of the wall right there. That's kind of, I mean, that's true of everything on this. So I'm going to quickly, if I tear this down, I won't get the entire roof to come down just because of the layout here, but it'll be pretty close. So just kind of ripping this all down. So we get that to come down, and this will come down. If we do the floor. It's just a lot of, I mean, one thing about this game, like a lot of games like this, you get fast because you just do a lot of this repetitious stuff. because I can carry so much, I can clean this stuff up really fast. So, yeah, when you upgrade your gloves, that determines how much you can carry, or how much you can grab in one grab. So if you've been watching, you've seen that I've grabbed, like this right here. I'll do that, and it grabbed a bunch of stuff, not just the one thing I was pointing at. The more upgraded your gloves are, the more stuff you grab with each one of those. And then, oops, I missed one. And then the more upgraded your hammer is, the less wax you have to make to take things off. So on this one, this wants me to cut with a torch. There's no reason to cut with a torch because now I can just knock down the wall and it'll come with it. So I'm not going to, but I'll show you the torch because there's a bunch of stuff that uses it. So that took down a few things. The stairwell and other stuff came with it. And then I'm going to grab all of this stuff out of the way. Oops. It's easy to not be looking down to see how much you have left on your weight that you can carry. And this stuff can stay. All right, so basically, just go around. What I'm doing is taking out the flooring, and then pretty much everything else will come down with once the floor comes apart. What did I miss? Oh, no, I bet you I missed that corner. No? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so once you remove the flooring, everything above it has to come down after it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. All these little connection points. So now we can see a bunch of things just fell. So I'll get this stuff out of the way. I don't worry too much about my boxes hitting the truck exactly every time. Sometimes it falls short. It doesn't matter. You just pick them up later. As far as I can tell, that truck has no weight limit. I've had over 50,000 kilograms in there, and it was still letting me throw boxes at it. So as far as I can tell, there is no limit to how much that truck can hold. So, alright. Since this is only a half, maybe I don't have a cut point that I have to do. I don't. Normally they're on these sections where they connect, you have to cut them. So I will cut that with a torch, just to show you what a torch looks like. So you bust out the torch. This, of course, again, is upgraded from the original. And then your pointer is what matters, not the flame. The little dot, that's what matters. And you just cut through this. Now, when you first start the game, this takes forever. But right now, this doesn't take much time at all. Because I have a really upgraded torch. As you get to the higher parts of the game, you'll need those upgraded things because you won't be able to do things if you don't have those upgrades, or you will spend forever attempting to do them. What am I stuck on? There we go. Anyway, now I got to take out this ceiling because you can see, if I can get to it, geez, this connects to this, which is part of the hull. So I have to take these off, and that will cause the next section to come down. Oops. So I just each of these, take it apart until they're done. So let's see, with that and the floor, it's just going to be broken to knock down, and then everything comes with it. So we'll do some cleanup here. Fast. Get some things out of the way. So as far as the deconstruction goes, this is pretty much what you do. There isn't much. I didn't use the saw, but it should be pretty intuitive once you've used these other things. They're just different tools to accomplish different tasks. I thought I had remembered this having a pallet on it, but I was mistaken. That would be a helpful thing to show you. Oops, I forgot to go. But because a lot of this game is figuring out what to do and when, in terms of when do you knock this versus that down, or do you take the time to do this first, and that sort of thing. You have to, as the game progresses, there's more and more to deal with. So you'll have like live electrical stuff you have to disable first. You have gas that you have to shut off before you can take that stuff apart, or you'll end up exploding large portions of the ship and losing all that value, all the items, the scrap and whatever that was in there. So that you have to kind of pay attention to all that stuff. Those aren't things. So, all right. I think that is all of it. These are piled on here, which is odd because usually they don't. But there's a piece. And basically, I just run around when I'm done and I pick up all the miscellaneous that might have gotten forgotten. Especially stuff that's still in the hole. So, like, I can't get a hold of that stuff. But stuff that's still in the hole, you have to take care of, because otherwise, when the crane comes and gets it, it lifts it way up there, and then all that stuff falls down, and it ends up all over creation, and it's a giant pain. All right, so I don't know if I can call this in. I can't. So I have to scrap this in place, I think. If there's a special item, sometimes it's going to be in a place like this. I'll show you those when we go back to the shack. So it looks like I can't call the crane to lift this out. That's why it still has stuff all over it. It's been long enough since I did the tutorial that I don't remember exactly what was on there. But there's the gist of it. So now I would just call the crane to lift that out, and it would take it over there and add the weight to my scrap value. The other way to do it is to scrap everything, so you don't have to have the crane lifted out. You get more if you do, but you don't have to. When you go and call the job done, it will scrap what's left, including that. And basically that just means it automatically goes to your scrap pile. So normally what I would do at this point is I would go and I would sort this scrap. But I want to show you a couple things before I do that. So we come back here, we're on the same ship, we go to the contracts, we sell that guy the stuff. That literally just came out of our truck. So we collected everything, we got the contract done, we're done on that, and then we can call it scrap, but you really should sort your scrap before you do that, because it'll scrap this stuff too. So run over here and take the truck over to the sorting. So this, for me, is the least favorite part of the game. So normally I auto-sort, even though you can make money doing it this way. I'm not going to, so I have to, this isn't very much, actually, in the scheme of things. So I'm not going to auto-sort. I'll show you how the sorting works. But I'm not a big fan of it. It's a dumb mini game to me that I just don't really like. So basically you move these to catch the scrap. This one, I don't think it's big enough. So you can speed it up. Which makes it a little faster. Honestly, I find this tedious. There's not often very much, for the amount of time you're spending, there's not really that much doing yourself. to me, it's just really, it's already tedious enough spending the amount of literal, real-life hours to tear down a full ship. So, we're pretty close. You can see on the right, if you look over there and tell me how many left. So, I made $17 for that. And it says a perfect, so you didn't have to redo it. If you do have to redo it, you only have to resort the ones you missed. So you don't have to start all over and do it all over again. Ooh, and a noise. Almost cool. Anyway, so I finished that. There I've done the sorting. Now I usually jump out of my truck and go straight over to the upgraders. So you go to this guy to buy the licenses or the plans or whatever they call them. And then you go to this guy to upgrade. I don't think I have the stuff for my next upgrade yet. Where am I at? Oh, I don't have the next hammer one yet. Which one was it that I was working on? I may have just finished them all, actually. Now that I think about it, last night I did. Eventually you get explosives, which are nice, but they're a little bit expensive for what they do. Basically, these will clear a small area. They're kind of useful if you're in a very confined space where it's hard to get to everything. This is useful sometimes, especially when you're on a really big ship. You can place these, they're basically big dumpsters, and you can place them in the ship where there's space, and then you can fill them from there so you don't have to try to exit to get to the truck to throw your stuff to it. But normally what I do is I just pile the boxes in the ship, and then once you get to where it's clear, you can either chuck them out to the truck or whatever. And then this is the guy where you sell scrap. So this is what I have in inventory. This is what it will pay. And so if I move the slider, here's what I'm going to get for selling all of that. I'm not going to sell anything because I really don't need to right now, but that's kind of the gist. But you also need these materials for those upgrades. So you need to pay attention to what you need for your upgrades. Money versus, right? So you're going to need, usually somewhere between $10 and $120 for your upgrades, depending on how high in the tier you're going. And then you're going to need, and money-wise, and then you're going to need these resources, different amounts of them. Mostly, a lot of them are on these liquids, but all of these come into play. So you need to pay attention to those. And then, so in the beginning, first part of the game, I would do my upgrades and then sell everything I had left. Now I tend to kind of stack it up instead. And then the tools, these vary in price. They start pretty low. They're around $10, and then they go up. So to get the next level of hammer, I need $900. To get the next level of gloves, I think I'm at $800 now. And then the last thing to show you, because we got to go back to the house and scrap that ship anyway. I can do the sprint button. Before we go in, this guy, upgrade your house. So you're not going to upgrade from your shack right here until you get to the hut. And so you're going to need a lot of money for that. And I've been playing for quite a while and still haven't done it because, again, really focus on the tools first. You really need to. And then you can change some of the decor and a few other things. So that's pretty neat. I don't have any of the DLCs. Most of the DLCs for this game just add more types of ships. So I'm done with that. I can scrap it and finished. And then you basically just go in and you shop for another one. So if you ever run out of money, this one's always free. So you can always just redo it. So if you don't have enough money to buy another ship, and you can redo ships that you've already done if you want. The check mark just means you've done the contracts. So that means, like on this one, I missed one of the contracts, I think. So to do it again, I'd have to fulfill all the contracts. But yeah, so what I've been doing is steadily getting higher and higher. As you look at the ships, you'll see the difficulty level. I can do a 2-hammer difficulty right now pretty easily. most everything is a one hit with my hammer at the level it is, but on a third level difficulty, I would have to hit things 2 or 3 times to break them. It'd be just like I was brand new and just started. This is probably the next one I'm going to do, but yeah, that's pretty much the game. You basically just, it's just repetitive. So if you play Deconstruction Simulator, it's very similar. So yeah, you upgrade the crane, which basically just makes it do things faster or slower, and so on and so forth. So there you go. That's, yeah, Ship Graveyard Simulator. There's a longer name for it, too, depending on who you're asking. But according to the Steam page, it is Ship Graveyard Simulator 2. So, all right. Pretty cool game. I really do enjoy it. Even though it feels tedious when you're looking at it, when you actually play it, it doesn't feel nearly as tedious. And you start learning little tricks like knock out the flooring so everything else falls down on top of it, that kind of stuff. So the one thing to remember, though, is if you have an item that has to be craned out, do not let it fall through the floor. So don't collapse that floor because that will destroy that item most of the time. So anyway, all right. Oh, and collectibles. Yeah. It's only showing a couple of them. I have others. I don't know where the little airplane... There's the fish. Okay. Where'd the little airplane go? That guy was one. Where's the little... There it is. No, that's the little wave thing. So I guess they just get put all over randomly. Anyway, yeah. This is kind of... that's the game. These little collectibles, you'll just find them randomly on the ships. Once you found them, they won't reappear. So... That intro one, I got that one on the first run, and I don't remember what it was that I got. I think it was maybe this dinosaur. But anyway, yeah. All right. Oh, and here's a little car. Yeah, I found a bunch of stuff. All right. So that's it. That's Ship Graveyard Simulator 2. Catch you on the next one.